Hi everybody, welcome to The Bottom Line. I'm Mike Noland, and tonight we're going to be discussing how I use my iPad Pro 12.9 inch to run, well, my business. My business happens to be running a YouTube studio. So let's take a look at how this meets my needs and just maybe might meet yours as well. First, I want to remind everybody, we've reached our first two goals here on YouTube, and now what we want to do is reach our third goal. The first goal was get your first video out. The third goal we immediately set up for ourselves is a lot more complicated to achieve, but we're excited about it. We have increased from 11 to 18 subscribers, and we know it's going to increase further. So if you get anything from this video, please give us a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe to the tribe and the first 100 subscribers. But now let's take a look at how an iPad Pro could help you run your business. So as I mentioned before, I'm getting a lot of responses from viewers asking me about just how do you use your iPad Pro for a home office? Or how do you use your iPad Pro for a business? Well, my business these days is YouTube, and I run a YouTube studio. So I thought, what better way by answering the second of those questions, and we'll answer the first in another video coming up. That is how to use it on the home front, either as just a basic home computer or as an actual home office computer. So let's take a look at what we've got here. I'll switch up to my app switcher, and what I want to do here is down on my dock, I want to open Safari. All right, so let's type in YouTube Studio. We've got an immediate hit. Don't even have to fully type it all in. Now I prefer to sign in to YouTube Studio here. And the reason being is you get a better experience, basically. So as you can see, here's where we are. This is my business. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an insight to how I'm using YouTube Studio. Okay, so let's take a look at it. There it is, the mirroring again, the greatest weakness of the iPad Pro, right? I mean, it's still much larger than my screen here, but a 43-inch screen should look like a 43-inch screen. Okay, so first of all, you can see that what's on the screen is merely a mirror image. And as I explained in past videos, that's a weakness with this, but there are workarounds. Some third-party apps will let you go straight to full screen, such as LumaFusion. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and swipe up to my app switcher. There you go, second time's a charm. So this is where we were. I'm going to choose ShiftScreen, and I'm going to go ahead and highlight this, and then I'm going to drag this up here, and then I'm going to resize it to full screen. Okay, so everybody saw me do this in my review of ShiftScreen 4, but now you're going to get a good look at exactly how I use ShiftScreen. So I'm going to invite you into my virtual YouTube studio. We're going to take a look at some very valuable analytics tonight. So let's go ahead and go to channel analytics here. It pops up. Okay, it gives you a general overview. I've had on the channel 483 views. We're small, to me, major victory, thank you. And that my watch time is up to 24. When I first introduced the fact that we had goals, we were at about 7 hours. Just a few days, we've gone up tremendous growth in there. And of course, 17 subscribers are mentioned here. I happen to know I have 18. These analytics are reported every 24 hours. So what we're going to be viewing tonight is yesterday's activity. So if you've been on the channel today, none of the information we're going to look at will have that reflected. This is all yesterday. Okay, now to get away from this generalized screen, down in the left-hand corner, where my cursor is kind of moving, it says see more. All right, so now we're going to go, we'll get to this screen later, we're going to go look at views. All right, so here we see, this is a chart of color-coded information. Now if you take a look at this, right here, each of those colors represent the amount of views per video, and they're color-coded so that I can tell which video has done what. So if we take a look at this, we're going to go up to the very first time we released our first video. So since this is a report on all videos, you're going to get up here that I've got a lot of zeros. Well, the reason for that is this is a report for all videos, but not all videos were made at this time. Okay, so here we see this information is October 28th. I'm going to bring that up. As you can see, I've brought up the releasing of my very first video, October 28th, 2021. And you can see I had 55 views right away. I think that's excellent for the first time you put a video on YouTube. I'll take each victory as it comes. But take a look at this now. I also saw the very next day, the 29th, a sharp decrease. Of course, those zeros still represent videos that haven't been shot or published on YouTube yet. The first day to 55 and only got 8 views the next day for a total of 63. And this is indicative of your very first, video. The day after that, another 6. And this day, only 1. Now, it's interesting here. This day is, as soon as it crashed, if we go over to the next section here, the very next day, I launched my second video. Now, the second video was iPad Pro as a primary computing device. I got 25. Not as much as my first video. But the first video I think I got a lot of views from friends, family, and local areas just due to the fact that I sent out an invitation. But here we can see the videos start taking a life of their own. So you can see I got 25 views, and I actually increased already dead video because it had gotten down to 1 and it went up to 6. So you can see my second video is really affecting my first. I see an upswing. Now, the very next day, I still got 25 views. 2 days, 50, not bad. But here you can see that my original video got 12 views. So it's climbing. On this day, I have maintained with the current video, but it's climbing. Now this little section in here to here, we can see that basically you've got a new video launching. Now it launches, but these start going down. But let's take a look at this. So when I launched this, so here we can see that my YouTube Studio Hub, my very first video, has increased even more. The next day, I released my third video. It is my first road trip video, more to come in the future. And so it did relatively well. iPad Pro is a primary computing device. Was still doing quite well. Slight decrease. Like I said, this was a different kind of video. All right, but here you can see I got a better first day response, so that was feeling good. Now, of course, here we see where the next day things are decreasing. This is the flow of YouTube. And then the numbers start increasing here. This is my fourth video, okay? And the fourth video was my first shootout. And we can see that the shootout got 53. Very pleased with that. Close to, if you see the chart here, very close and even an angle. And later decline. These are all important things. After the release, you can see every single video increase during that. Keep releasing material. Keep releasing material, because people will go back to your old videos if they're interested in your content. That increases your watch time. That increases your views. That increases your chances of being discovered on the YouTube algorithm. So, anyway, one final thing here in regard to this. Here is November 7th. Today is November 8th. I released this video so you can see that, first of all, the incline is nowhere near as good as my 4 previous videos. But you have to understand, see, I released that video 15 minutes before midnight, okay? So these are the reportings of November 7th. 99% of my viewers did not see the video until November 8th. So I'm going to be very interested to watch these statistics, because this new video is a budget alternative lighting product shootout number 2. I want to see how it affects shootout number 1 and the rest of the videos. We'll get into this another time. So let's take a look at another aspect, and that is watch time. Watch time is very important, okay? You've got to have the 1,000 subscribers, but you also have to have the watch time. So let's take a look at this. Now, watch time for all these different videos. Let's go to the first video. Now, I got about 5.1 hours of watch time, and we discussed that the reason for that, it was my biggest first response video so far. And so I can understand that a big chunk of the time that I've earned here comes out of that one. Now, if we take a look at my second video, we can see a vastly marked improvement as far as watch time. And then we got to our third video, and again, nearly matching that. Now, my first shootout video did about as well as my first video here, but not as good as the 2 preceding. However, it is a newer video, and it was the very first shootout. And we're going to be having more shootouts in the future, and we're hoping that one shootout begets another 2 shootouts, and they told 2 friends, and they told 2 friends, and they told 2 friends. So anyway, enough of that foolishness. So anyway, we can see this is very valuable information. I'm not going to get into subscribers right now due to time, but let's take a look at, see, you get down to more metrics here. I love that. And I love this. Now see, a lot of this is not open to me yet because I don't have my first 1,000 subscribers, right? But what is open to me is still pretty amazing. If we take a look at average views per viewer, so if we go down to the table here on the bottom, we can see that the channel has 483 views. And we're looking at the average views per viewer. This is very valuable information. So we can see that the average views per viewer is 6.3 times. Now that's just the average, and we're a small channel, so we may have some hardcore fans out there that are watching the entire video, and analytics also tell me that watch time for these videos have been like 1 minute 50 seconds, and then they've gone up to 2.5 minutes, and then we're at about 3:45 per average. And all of that, I'm not cutting that down. That's great info to have, and it is growth. So here we see that per video, The big loser would be budget alternative lighting product shootout number 2. Well, as I said before, we have a lot of hopes for this. But once again, this is about 15, 20 minutes of information. And when you take a look at that, you're getting 2 views. Now, sometimes you have to look at the analytics and compare them to these various charts to make them clear to you. But if you're not using these analytics and you have a YouTube studio, you really are shooting yourself in the foot. This is a fabulous tool, and it shows up and is even in more glorious color thanks to ShiftScreen 4X. So, once again, iPad, corner hub, my LG 43-inch 4K monitor, and ShiftScreen 4X. And the mobility of the iPad. Think about that. Say you own a business and you're in the service industry and you have a choice between basically a laptop or a tablet. I've worked with laptops many times on the go, and I've worked with the iPad Pro 12.9 inch with the Magic Keyboard and Apple Pencil, and I gotta tell you, stop off at a Starbucks, sit that on the table, and there's not going to be any wrist pain that you get from here, okay? It's a wonderful device, especially with the added peripherals. Just a final reminder, we're on our 3rd goal of getting our first 100 subscribers, and we want you to subscribe to the tribe, get on the original 100. And also, if you got any value in this video whatsoever, please give us a thumbs up, and if you do decide to subscribe, hit the top bell notification. That way you will be notified of future videos, because they're coming. Oh yeah, one more thing. To the guy in Hawaii, how's the wardrobe, dude?